Live on TV, Israel strikes Syria's military headquarters and the presidential palace in Damascus. Israel has carried out air strikes on Syria's military headquarters and the presidential palace in the capital, Damascus. The Syrian Health Ministry says at least 13 people were injured. The US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, has urged both sides to stop fighting. Here's Nick Beek.
The strikes were seen and felt live on Syrian TV. Damascus rocked by one Israeli missile after another. And this the moment the country's military HQ was targeted. They cowered in the streets, waiting for it to end. Israel says it's taking this action to protect members of the Druze religious minority in southwest Syria.
The situation in southwestern Syria is very serious. The IDF is operating, the Air Force is operating, other forces are operating. We are acting to save our Druze brothers and to eliminate the regime's gangs.
Human rights groups say more than 300 people have been killed in southwest Syria over the past few days. There have been clashes between different groups. The new Syrian government rejects the accusation it's attempting a massacre against the Druze community. The US says it's worried by developments and will use its influence to stop the fighting.
We want the fighting to stop because we had a ceasefire overnight. It broke down in the end. So we're talking to both sides, all the relevant sides on this, and hopefully can bring it to a conclusion. But we're very concerned.
Israel says it's protecting the Druze community, but it's also asserting its power on a neighbor with new leadership. This was the Syrian presidential palace after one of the strikes. This Israeli action is both an escalation, but also a distraction from military operations in Gaza. Nick Beek, BBC News, Jerusalem.
A ceasefire between Syria and Israel announced late this afternoon seems, for the moment at least, to have halted deadly clashes in Syria that led to the Israelis carrying out bombing raids on Damascus. Dozens of people were killed after clashes between Syrian government loyalists and Druze militia in the southern city of Swaida. Israel, which is allies of the Druze, then launched a series of airstrikes, but two Israeli strikes earlier today also targeted Syria's military headquarters in Damascus. John Irvine reports.
Yet again, Israel is trying to impose its will on a neighbour with airstrikes. But what's remarkable about this afternoon's bombing of Damascus is the fact it happened at a time when Syria and Israel are involved in peace talks, brokered by a Trump administration perhaps confused by this turn of events.
I think I'll ask Marco to say a few words on Syria.
Yeah, it's complicated, obviously. These are historic, long-time rivalries between different groups in the southwest of Syria, Bedouins, the Druze community, and it led to an unfortunate situation and a misunderstanding, it looks like, between the Israeli side and the Syrian side. So we've been engaged with them all morning long and all night long with both sides, and we think we're on our way towards a real de-escalation and then hopefully get back on track.
This air raid was the culmination of a sectarian chain reaction with links in both countries. At the centre of the strife is an Arab minority sect known as the Druze, who live in southwestern Syria and northeastern Israel, and who crucially enjoy the support of the Israeli government because they serve in the IDF. In recent days, the Syrian Druze have been fighting Syrian government forces whom they don't trust. The Israelis have got involved militarily to both support the Druze and to ensure that Syrian troops don't get too close to the border. They're not yet sure about the intentions of the new Islamist administration in Damascus. The Israeli Prime Minister has made a statement. We are acting to save our Druze brothers and to eliminate the gangs of the regime, he said. It's still early days for the post-Assad Syrian government, and its treatment of minorities like the Druze and the Kurds is being watched closely by the Israelis. Under the guise of protecting these sects, Israel is using both negotiations and bombs to influence the direction taken by the new Syria. John Irvine, ITV News, Tel Aviv.